Get the comfy chair!
Welcome to this episode of The Good, the Bad and the Odd with your hosts, Mark and Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hey.
Right, so we're doing a comfy chair episode, which I remember last time I talked about this, I said, we'll be doing one a month. And that was back in May, and it's October now. So it's looking like every 5 or 6 months. But I really do want to try and make it once a month and make it a bit more, what we've watched and stuff like that. It encouraged me to watch different stuff for nothing else, right? So that's a good thing. Okay, so let's jump right into it. We've got some feedback I wanted to play first from Bruce Hannon, who has been talking on our Facebook group about various video games, and he did send this in about a month ago, and we just still haven't got. We took forever to get around to a comfy chair, but finally we got to it. So here is Bruce.
Hi guys, I'm trying a little something different here. I left or made a post on your Facebook page just regarding the Mafia trilogy that came out on Friday, which was the 25th of September. And Mark said, why not send in an email or a voicemail? So yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. So it was just about the Mafia trilogy. That has the 3 games that had previously been released before. The first Mafia game has a complete overhaul. So basically from the ground up, it's a brand new game, but I believe it does follow the story. I never actually played that before. Previously, it was released in 2002 on PC, and then it was ported to the Xbox and PS2. Which I don't think was massively big at the time. So I think it was mostly just PC gamers that had actually played it. Now, the Mafia, the first game is set in the 30s, and this is a new graphic upgrade. It's got extras like motorbikes for the first time, and yeah, it's a pretty decent game. Mafia 2 is more of a sort of HD upgrade, made the graphics look a bit better. Previously that had came out in 2010 on PC, PS3 and the 360. That game was my entry into the Mafia games, and yeah, I loved it. Probably completed it 2 or 3 times. Set instead of the 30s, it's set in 1945 to 1951. The story was really, really good. The music on the radio, you've got original artists such as Chuck Berry, Bing Crosby, the Drifters, Nat King Cole. The weather changed, and even over the 10 years, the sort of music changed, and the cars got slightly better. Driving in the snow, it was just an amazing game. Mafia 3, probably a little bit disappointed with that game. It's still a reasonable game. That came out not too long ago, 2016, on PS4, Xbox One, and PC again. This time it was set at 1968. Comes away from the original games in the fact that they were set kind of in fictional Chicago, kind of New York vibe to them, where Mafia 3 is in New Orleans, and it just kind of takes a different sort of turn. And I think what makes Mafia, the first 2 games, probably slightly better or different is the time period, the cars, just being a bit slower. Just when you're getting chased, it's more about the driving instead of just full tilt. Still, Mafia 3 is a reasonable game, though. I haven't had a chance to play Mafia 2 remastered or Mafia 3 remastered yet, so I'll be interested to see what they're like. Mafia 3 was full of glitches, so on the original version, so hopefully they've been sorted, which, again, quite surprising from 2K Games, who brought these out. You probably know them from Borderlands and BioShock, which obviously pretty decent games. I think you guys play Borderlands quite a bit. And then they also did the WWE game, or games, which the latest one is apparently horrendous for graphics. So I've probably played about just over 3 hours of the original Mafia, and I'm really loving it. Again, it's probably mostly about the story. The graphics are pretty decent. I think other games like GTA and obviously Red Dead, both Rockstar games, better looking, I would say. But if you like something a little bit different with your sort of open world games, it's more, Saboteur is probably a good example, set during the war. It's just got that sort of different vibe to it. Again, I suppose Red Dead is slightly different in that sense as well. But yeah, I'm quite enjoying it so far. If you're a fan of movies such as The Godfather, Untouchables, or even The Sting, set in 1936, basically the same era as the first Mafia game, then you're probably going to enjoy it. So it'll be interesting to see if you guys pick it up or have any intentions of playing it. The one thing I would say is certainly the first game, even though it kind of feels like a sandbox game, it's pretty tight narrative. So so far anyway, you don't seem to it's more like a real game, though you can sort of drive around where you want, but the story is pretty much linear. So yeah, it's really good. Anyway, hope your guys are doing okay. And Mark was saying this might get added to a comfy chair. You might be doing one soon. It's probably my favourite part of your actually podcast. Obviously, you don't do it so much now, but I understand why. It's probably taking up more of the episode than the actual the episode itself, whatever that topic would be. But yeah, I kind of miss Sam's anime chat and hearing what you guys have been gaming. Anyway, hope you're doing well, and thanks a lot. Take care. Bye.
Okay, well, thanks, Bruce. He likes his Mafia. He likes his Mafia. Now, I've never played Mafia. Have you ever played Mafia?
No, I think back when you could order games through, I think it was Netflix for what was it? You used to be able to order games for a couple of weeks.
Was it? Yeah, no, it's that.
You remember it?
Yeah, no, Love Film.
Love Film, that's the one.
Film.
Yeah, but I think you ordered Mafia and we both played it once and you sent it back.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, the thing is, you didn't get
Mafia 2, rather. So.
Unless you really immersed yourself in the game, you kind of had a bit of a taste and then you sent it back. I remember it being okay, and it was kind of it reminded me a bit of the I'm really going back in the 360 Punisher. Was it a 360 Punisher game?
It was original Xbox.
Okay, original Xbox Punisher game. Wow. And also, GTA, as kind of Bruce mentioned, it was that kind of space. But you know what? I'm going to put Mafia on my wish list on Steam, and if it gets the first one, because Bruce kind of liked the first one quite a bit, didn't he?
Yeah, I think you can only really get it as the trilogy.
Oh, okay.
You're probably able to get Mafia 3. But,
okay, well, I want to try the first one, so if I've got any, it would be the trilogy, I guess. But I'll have a look and see. You never know. With places like GOG, you sometimes see these one-off games really cheap.
It's on Steam. The remake he was talking about, the Mafia Definitive Edition.
Yeah.
That's like £35 on Steam. So.
Well, I'll put it on the Steam, and if it comes up at the sale, I might give it a go. Right? Okay. Thanks, Bruce. That was really interesting. We're not in that space. I mean, we've played GTA and stuff like that, and I was, and I think I might like it. It depends what's variant is. I'm not a fan of GTA because I don't like beating up snivelling little wretches, which is a lot of GTA in my experience. But I quite like an open game. I like Red Dead Redemption. So if it is like a modern, a more modern version of Red Dead Redemption rather than GTA, I probably would dig it quite a bit. I really do like Red Dead Redemption. And also, it's interesting what you said about the use of music. It made me think of how Fallout uses 30s and 40s music really effectively. for atmosphere. So I think Mafia might be my cup of tea. It's just I think I tried it once and found it okay. Mafia 2 that would have been, but not so. I don't think I've tried the original. I may have tried an old, you know when magazines used to have demos on this on the front. I might have tried it from that, but I don't really remember it. I kind of am familiar with the idea though. I remember at the time it being quite a big game. I think you said it wasn't. Bruce said it wasn't that big a deal. Maybe he was talking about the port actually, but I thought it was a big deal. I remember it in the shops. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, we're big fans of Borderlands here. So it's 2K, so there might be some of the dynamics we really like. So I'll keep a lookout for it, and we'll have. If I give it a go, I'll talk about it. In fact, I am talking about some other video games later on, so we'll see how we go. Right, so thanks again, Bruce. That was very welcome to have a bit of feedback. Right, so in our usual comfy chair style, we're going to sort of break this down in a certain order. We're going to try and talk about one odd or bad film and possibly another odd or bad film, and then the good stuff. So, shall I go first on this? I've got an odd one. I've got a bad one too if we want to do two, but I have got one odd one, which is a film from the 80s, an 80s horror film, which... in my opinion, tend to be the most entertaining kinds of horror films. This one's called Dolls, from 1987, directed by Stuart Gordon, whose work I really like. I didn't know it was directed by him when I put it on, so it's a pleasant surprise. He's made some really terrific Lovecraftian kind of movies. They are Lovecraft movies, actually. Reanimator and From Beyond. He made those two, which... so
is this your odd choice or your bad choice?
Odd.
Okay.
Dolls it's pretty much how it sounds. It's a couple with their daughter, and the wife is the stepmother, the wicked stepmother in this. She's horrible. She's truly gross. At one point they get stuck. They're in Britain for some reason. They're American, but they're in Britain, even though it looks like Arizona, right? But they claim it's Britain, and they're driving through so they meet a couple. They actually drive past a couple of punk girls that were hitchhiking and spraying with water, and the stepmother is just horrendous. At one point the car breaks down, and the little girl comes with her teddy, and the woman literally picks the teddy off of her and throws it in the bushes and says, "You don't need extra weight to bug you down." So she throws away her favourite doll or teddy, and they end up in this spooky old house, and there's an old couple there, and it turns out the man is a doll maker. He makes sort of custom dolls, but no one really wants them in these days of mass production. But the dolls are alive, and I won't go into the mechanics, but essentially it's the same kind of horror comedy space as stuff like Gremlins, Ghoulies, Critters, these little weird dolls. And dolls kind of creepy, right? They can be quite creepy. Live. And they also, it turns out the two punk hitchhikers have also been picked up by another bloke who's an American, also happens to be an American, in the rain, and they kind of also broke down and got stuck, and they turn up too, but they're dodgy types. They kind of want to steal the bloke's wallet. That's why they're there. And you know what happens in horror films, people with bad intentions come to bad ends, don't they, really? And turns out the couple are a kind of, shall I get into spoilers? Well, they're kind of behind it all. Let's put it that way. It's quite fun. It's goofy. It's quite short. I quite liked it. It entertained me. Let's put it that way. But it's one I kept meaning to get to, and as it's kind of Halloween-y time, I thought, go on, I'll put on Dolls. I think it was only 80 minutes, so it's quick in and out. And Stuart Gordon, as I say, is the director, so it's pretty fun and effective. Not scary, but fun. Let's put it that way. So that's me.
Okay, so my odd is a 1995 horror film called Ice Cream Man, which me and my friends watched over Discord. It stars Clint Howard as the titular Ice Cream Man, and it's basically just this weird sort of slasher parody film, but it's kind of trying to take itself too seriously.
Really, with Clint Howard? I find it. I don't believe Clint Howard would take this seriously whatsoever. But,
well, he
yeah, go on then.
He just played the role instead of like. Okay, so
was he playing it at full blast kind of?
Yeah,
camp?
but
Okay,
everyone else was like taking it seriously.
Wow.
Like, this is going to be their breakthrough.
Wow. Oh, that's a shame. Anyway, yeah. Go on. So Ice
So,
Cream Man.
The premise is that this guy's like driving around killing people and putting them in his ice cream. And like the only reason this guy's this crazy is there's he went to an asylum because the ice cream man from his childhood got killed in a drug-related drive-by shooting.
And it traumatized him that much.
Yeah, it traumatized him. So he went to this asylum, and it turns out the asylum was like run by crazies as well. So they drove him crazy. So he's killing people because he's just mad and completely mental now.
Yeah.
And honestly, like a few bits were sickening inducing. Like there's a bit where he takes an apple core to an eyeball and sticks it in some rocky road.
Nice.
But most of it, the thing that upset us the most was his handling of ice cream, to be honest. Because like he'd scoop it and it'd like be mostly runny. So he'd scoop it onto the cone, it'd still start running down his hands, and then he'd like pick up some more with his bare hand and shove it on top. And it's like, ugh.
And give it to a kid or something.
Yeah, and give it to a kid.
And the kids don't care, they got ice cream, right?
Yeah, kids have got ice cream. But yeah,
that's
so
really
he's
sickening.
killing kids and then chucking them in his ice cream. And there's a bit where somehow a kid survives like 6 hours locked in a freezer. So, like, industrial freezer.
Wow.
So,
that kid did well. But did he have a thick coat on?
But all the kids have dumb names, like Tuna Casera and Small Paul, stuff like that.
Right. Okay. Was it fun? That's all I need to know.
It was funny to watch, mainly because there's just moments of complete, like, idiocy. Like, there's a bit where, for some reason, this woman tries to seduce the ice cream man.
Okay.
And so he invites her. She, like, tells him to come over, but there's another guy already there, which she's, like, already, like fucking outside on a pool bench.
Bloody hell.
And so Ice Cream Man catches him after he leaves, and then he goes to her house with this dude's head on a giant waffle cone.
Nice.
And he shows it to her, and she screams, and he gets this reaction of like, well, that didn't work, and pulls out a machete and chops at her. And that's the end of that scene.
Wow.
It's a weird film.
Yeah, I think Clint Howard in this kind of role would be pretty good, actually. I can't see that totally.
There was going to be a sequel. Well, there was a Kickstarter for a sequel called Ice Cream Man 2 Bloody Sunday.
Nice.
But unfortunately, they didn't reach the $300,000 goal on Kickstarter. They only got 4,000 with 70 backers.
That's a shame. I wouldn't have backed it either.
No.
I don't believe in that sort of thing. Okay, well, Ice Cream Man. Clint Howard. I always like Clint Howard. He's kind of fun. He appears a lot in Ron Howard films, obviously.
Yeah.
Here and there. But I could see him doing a mad slasher quite well. He's got the crazy eyes for it. So, yeah. It made me think of those cheaper... There's a whole run of cheapo kind of horrors based on... I don't know, kids fit. There's like Jack Frost, the scary snowman one. There's the Ginger Dead Man with Gary Busey, which has got to be seen to be believed. And this sounds like it's that kind of wheelhouse, 80s kind of trashy.
Yeah.
Probably a straight to video, I'm gonna guess. Who knows?
The Ice Cream Man, probably. I think so.
Yeah. Okay, can I ask if you've got a bad as well lined up, or is that
Yes, I do.
Okay, well I'll go on to my bad. This wasn't terrible. It was just a bit of a disappointment. It was a film from the early 80s called The House of the Long Shadows. The last film, or one of the few films to feature, get this, Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, Vincent Price, who did appear in another film together, and also John Carradine, who... the four of them together have never appeared in a movie. This was based on an old story called something like The Seven Keys of Baldpate. is what it's called. Basically, there's this scary Welsh house. This writer accepts a bet with his publisher that he can write a book in 24 hours. And he wants to find some sort of creepy place with atmosphere to write this story. And his publisher comes up with his house in the middle of nowhere in Wales, and he goes to it by train with his typewriter. Turns out it's not empty at all. There's a couple of old people in it that are like housekeepers. John Carradine and apparently his wife or his sister. And then people keep turning up. We get first Vincent Price turns up, and he's like the eldest son of the family, and he's doing full Vincent Price, monologuing about how the modern world is terrible. And those are all right. Those bits are all right, where it's got the old guys going on about stuff. Peter Cushing turns up, but unfortunately he's got a speech impediment. He can't pronounce his R's properly, so. I don't know why Peter Cushing did this, because Peter Cushing's got a great speaking voice, but he talked, we were having trouble, it's all that. So
I'm going to guess that he was very bored on set and just decided
I think so. I think that's what it is. I think it's one of his last films as well. But it kept making me think of, the vicar in Princess Bride. It was married, all that. And then Christopher Lee turns up, who... It was the younger of all of them, so he looks pretty good, in good shape in this compared to the other guys. And it's full Christopher Lee, giving it proper. He's not camping out. You realise how campy Vincent Price is when you put him in a film with, say, Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing. Those guys aren't campy. They're they are keeping it straight in what they do, pretty much. Although Christopher Lee can do a little grandiose, right? But compared to Vincent Price, you kind of feel like, these are toning it down.
Christopher Lee is always took the bad film seriously sort of guy.
Oh yeah, it's taking it totally seriously. But the premise is boring, unfortunately. It's okay when they're on the screen, but there's quite long sections where they're not. And there's an actor. The writer's okay. It's Desi Arnaz Jr. of all people, Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz's son. But he's okay. He can act. But there's a female lead in it who's turned up to try and put him off. It's the secretary of the publisher, but she also then gets involved in the mystery, and boy, she cannot act. She cannot act at all. She's really bad. And there's a couple of other actors. Another couple turn up who basically shout at each other a lot, but they kind of... There's some nasty stuff in this. There's, for example, there's a woman who washes her face, and she thinks it's water, but it turns out it's acid. So her face melts. That's pretty nasty. And there's some sort of family mystery going on in this house. They reminded me a lot of the old Dark House, actually, but it just wasn't as good. So it was a bit dull. But the worst thing is, and I've got to be careful, I don't want to spoil the ending, but the ending has a twist that undermines every single thing you've seen, which is kind of annoying when it's a good film, but it's also quite annoying when it's not a great film. So you've been bored for an hour and odd, and then suddenly, so all of that was, this. So yeah, not great. Didn't enjoy it much. House of the Long Shadows. They've all made way better films. Let's put it that way. Okay, but it's weird seeing John Carradine, who was a horror in Universal horror. So he kind of was before Hammer even. So yeah, weird, right? So yeah, okay. So that's me, House of Long Shadows.
Okay, now I know a guy mentioned that he likes me talking about anime, but this. My bad is the Dragon's Dogma anime, which is really unfortunate because I really like the Dragon's Dogma game. It's one of my favorite games.
Dragon's Dogma was a good game, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's one of the few games that properly puts "Let's fight a dragon" to it does it justice.
Yeah, Dragon Age is okay, but it's easy. It's relatively easy. Dragon Dogma is a different league.
Dragon's Dogma is you are committing a full hour to this boss fight, and it's awesome every second of it.
Oh, nice.
But the anime is not good. Okay. So it starts off vaguely the same premise. The main character gets his heart ripped out by a dragon and eaten, and that denotes him as an Arisen, which is someone who is destined to fight and either win or fail against the dragon, and that will affect it. If the dragon stays around, he'll make another Arisen, and the cycle just keeps going on.
Yeah.
In this anime, they wanted to make the Berserk anime, which is... Berserk is they tried so hard to make it so many other manga and anime that it really falls apart hard. Like,
so they're copying other anime, is that what you mean?
Yes. The main character in the game, the sort of preset love interest, shall we call her, she doesn't die. She basically nurses you back to health after you get your heart ripped out. And then as you set off, it turns out she's basically like left to try and find medicine for you to see if it'll help.
Okay.
And that's kind of her story. In this, she's the main character's wife, she's pregnant, and she gets, like, killed very quickly.
Okay.
So that's one fridge woman. Every episode seems to knock off a different anime. So there's an episode that's about the goblins, which are in the actual game, the goblins are like forest spirits that have been corrupted. In this, because another anime called Goblin Slayer did very well, which had rapist goblins in it, they just made them rapist goblins.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That doesn't sound fun.
No. But it just keeps going, and it completely ignores its source material. Everything that should be like a good note, they try and sour. So there's an episode about there's a corrupt governor that's making people pay out the nose for taxes for a guard because there's a Cyclops wandering around. And then when our hero Ethan goes and kills the Cyclops, it turns out that the governor is working with the Cyclops so that he can get money and like resources. He's just taxing people through various means. But after he kills the Cyclops and tells the people, it's like smash cut to Ethan on a hill near to the town. The town's all on fire, and he's crying, and then we get like a weird flashback to, all the people, now that they weren't under the yoke of like an oppressor, they immediately went nuts and started like gorging themselves on food and just went nuts and started killing people.
That's a terrible message.
What?
That's a terrible message. Weird.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at it. It was on Netflix, right? It's on Netflix.
Yeah, it's a Netflix one.
And interestingly, 7 episodes, all named after one of the seven deadly sins. So presumably that's Greed you're talking about.
Yeah, Lust was the goblin one, which is quite disgusting. No, the woman that almost gets like raped, she's traveling with her husband, who's kind of a bit of a milksop.
Yeah.
But when Ethan shows up I think the Cyclops one's gluttony, because greed comes up for a different thing.
Okay.
But she tries to seduce the main character because he killed the goblins. And then when her husband is like, okay, I'll try and be better later on, she brushes him off. But at the end of the episode, he picks up a sword and starts like defending her properly. And then it's like, oh, okay, so now like their like conflict's resolved. No, he spins around and stabs her in like a murder rage. And he's like, what? And then she's like, oh no, you did the right thing. And I'm like, what? And then he stabs himself. So it's like, what's the point?
Yeah.
They even fucked up the dragon. So like, okay, so Grigori, which is the dragon's name in the original.
So hold on, does the 7 episodes build to him getting to the dragon? Is that what it's like? Or
not really. It's just kind of weirdly episodic. The first one is like, let's go and kill the dragon. And then they just kind of have like, there's no like, this episode gives them clues that lead to the next episode. It's just they wander around until they find the dragon.
Okay.
They fuck up the dragon so bad. I'm not like I can't be bothered not to spoil this. It's so bad.
Okay.
Like, at the end of the game, when you fight the dragon, it basically reveals that the dragon is some sort of like cosmic keystone. And it causes huge parts of the world to go to ruin, and you basically have to go into like some sort of afterlife and fight God and take God's place. And if you lose the fight, you become the next dragon. That's like the cosmology of that.
Okay.
In the anime, if you kill the dragon with vengeance in your heart, you become another dragon.
Okay.
Ethan kills it with vengeance in his heart, becomes a dragon. That's the end.
Okay, so
you didn't kill the dragon right. But, like, I'm so mad about this because it could have been so good. And like every single one had a bad moral. Every single episode had like bad morals or just horrible stuff.
It sounds like some horrible messaging going on. That's for sure.
Yeah, there's one that's all about like teenagers overusing recreational drugs.
Yeah,
and like the one person among them that's like actually that doesn't use them is like trying to get her brother to actually do something other than use drugs in a cave.
Yeah.
But there's a hydrant deeper in the cave that comes and gets them, and she tries to sacrifice herself to like get him out of the way, and she gets eaten. It's like, oh, okay. And then they cut one of the Hydra's heads off, and she like spills out. It's like, oh, okay, she's dead. And she's not, but she's blind. So now, like, she's stuck. The one like likable character in this episode
it gets messed up with it.
Gets messed up.
It sounds like a really annoying.
By some drug addicted, like, it's so frustrating.
Okay. Have you got any better anime to talk about later or not?
In this time, but like, I'll tell you what. Next Comfy Chair, I'll do like all good anime.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah. I think we can revisit some, actually. There's some that I wouldn't mind talking about again, like One Punch Man, maybe. Mind you, we did that, or Afro Samurai or something.
JoJo with you.
Okay. All right. Let's get into the good, shall we? Let's get into the good. Okay. Right, my first one is a film from this year, 2020, The Hunt. Funny enough, I watched this. I thought it was really terrific, and I checked, and a lot of the reviews are middling. You know, like there's all that. But no, I thought it was pretty terrific. Great, good thriller. This is one of those humans hunting humans movies, and it works really well. Essentially, but I think it's a satirical kind of movie, and it's a bit heavy-handed. Basically, all the elite snowflakes. The twist, I think, is you might expect it to be the other way around, but basically the elite snowflakes, it turns out, are drugging and bringing certain people, rednecks, they call them, basically people they don't like, people that, you know, don't correspond to a snowflake. Well, are being brought to a certain place and being hunted. It's basically, and then it turns out that these are rednecks who have been using the internet to badmouth other people, some of which are part of the group that are hunting them. Right, so it's basically almost like a weird revengey kind of thing. It starts off really nicely. A woman sort of wakes up with a gag in her mouth, and then she sees a man with a gag in his mouth, and they kind of work out they're all gagged. Actually, it doesn't start like that. It starts with something else, but never mind. The main problem is, and essentially you think you're going to know which character you're going to latch onto, but it keeps changing points of view. So you lead to a kind of interesting sort of Hitchcockian kind of approach to that's. I thought this was the main character. It can't be, so it must be that one. And you kind of work out who is the main character. Eventually, it settles down, and it turns out the people or the person or the people who are left are kind of working out what to do and where they are and stuff like that. And everything they encounter is like, are they really out of the hunt? Are they still in it? Are they being fooled? So there's like a mystery element in it. But essentially it boils down to one woman taking the fight back to them. And it's awesome. It's awesome. There's some great set pieces. There's some great action pieces. It's, you know, so if you've seen something like that, it's pretty brutal. It's more like Battle Royale than, say, Hunger Games in its brutality. But it's a pretty kick-ass. I'd say this is in the top 10 of humans hunting humans category. You know, the good ones are like Battle Royale. If you like that kind of something more cheesy, Running Man. The original is Most Dangerous Game, and it's still a very, very solid film, even though it's very old. And you get your sort of slightly tamer ones, you know, Hunger Games. There's also some bizarro 80s ones that are kind of fun, like Turkey Shoot. But The Hunt...
Hard Target.
Hard Target, Hard Target. Of course, Hard Target is another perf. That's a top 10 one as well, I'd say. But there's things like Surviving the Game. There's a really fun one called The Condemned with Vinnie Jones as the bad guy, stuck in this hunt who's like really horrible to everyone else he encounters, but also figures out how to get out of the hunt and starts hunting the people that are orchestrating all this. The Hunt, I can't recommend it highly enough. I really, really enjoy it. The only film I've seen similar, which again is kind of humans hunting humans recently, is one called Ready or Not, which is terrific. It's about the rich hunting down sort of a person because it's part of their games. And I think Ready or Not is slightly better than The Hunt. Ready or Not is absolutely top tier movie, but The Hunt is very good too, so I thoroughly recommend that if you get a chance to see it. So yeah, The Hunt. That's me.
Okay, so my first one is kind of more like a gaggle of games. I've been playing a lot of Warhammer 40,000 games again because they're quite fun, and honestly I've been getting back into the hobby because I took like I'll say a brief 10-year stint away from it. Roughly like that.
Never really left it, so you had a break away from it. So are you talking about the games or the playing?
I'm talking about the board game.
Okay.
As in,
the tabletop.
The tabletop game. The video games I've kind of been on and off about Dawn of War. It was mostly Dawn of War, Space Marine, and a newer game called Mechanicus.
I don't know that, but I know the what is it? Yeah. Dawn of War. I know those. Those are great. Variants of Command.
They are excellent RTS games. The first game is really great, good. Like base building, like build a huge army and run at the foe. The second game is an excellent tactics management game where you have to like keep people in cover, like move. It relies a lot on like lay down some heavy cover, heavy fire, flank, and then if needs be, charge your tank through and like break through a line.
Oh, that sounds good.
Its campaign is a really good like RPG version of that. The
sounds
third
like
game
they're
not so
kicking
good.
ass with Warhammer then, really.
Yeah, the third game not so good. That released like last year and it's already been like abandoned because of how badly it received.
Mechanicus?
No. The third game, Dawn of War 3, it got released I think last year. It was.
Dawn of War 3 is not good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame.
Because they tried to lean much more into like MOBA games, like League of Legends or sort of that sort of thing.
That's a shame. Yeah.
And it just didn't come across well.
Yeah.
Even though they included a lot of the newer stuff, like Imperial Knights. Well, I say newer. It's the stuff that they had newer models for, like Imperial Knights. Then the other game is Space Marine. So that's you play one of the titular Space Marines, and
that's probably FPS, right?
Yeah, well, it's a third-person shooter, but it's probably one of my favorite third-person shooter because there's no cover system, so you just smash through any cover that you find, and if your health gets low, you don't just like hide so until it gets back up. You just enter melee, and your health starts going back up.
Yeah, so, you basically get powered up by destruction, right? Yes.
Yeah,
it's a proper berserker mode. Yeah.
Yeah, that's got a really good. There's loads of mods for it, so you can change. Because a big part of the hobby is you customize the paint scheme of your guys, so you can choose what they look like, anything. You play as the Ultramarines, which are like the poster boy Space Marines. They're blue and gold. So there's mods that you can do that like change. You can change your color scheme to fit. So I changed mine to the Blood Ravens from Dawn of War, and the final game that I was playing was Mechanicus. Which is like it's an XCOM clone. So you customize your Mechanicus tech priests and you send them out, and you can also send out all their like attendants and like guard soldiers and their giant angry robots.
Nice. So
really
when you
fun.
sorry, there's lots of variants of XCOM. So it's like the one where you're strategic and you put people in certain positions. Yeah. I got you. Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So
go ahead.
That's that really. That's the 3 games for my first choice. So
nice. Warhammer. I've got to say again, Dawn of War are a great series of video games. If you like your Command and Conquer or I don't know, Age of Empires kind of thing, it's a bit more Command and Conquer really, but you will like that. So yeah, big plus from me as well. In fact, I want to. Now you've talked about it, I think I'm going to go back to it. Have a go sometime. Right, I'm going to talk about
something I highly recommend is when you get Soulstorm, try and find the Ultimate Apocalypse mod, because that ups the scale hugely and lets you build like far bigger things, so you can get into the Titans.
Oh, that sounds cool. That sounds really cool. Okay, so we do one more each as we're kind of running out of time, but I'm going to talk about video games I've been playing generally, and I've kind of been playing a lot of multiplayer games for some time now. I really hated multiplayer games for a long time. I much prefer the only one I really liked was playing with other people was Borderlands, because that has a really nice co-op mode. But apart from that, I really hated it. Mainly, I felt swamped and like I just didn't have the skill set to even go on the game. Get on the game, without just dying constantly. Anyway, I have been playing some multiplayer games recently that I really enjoy. So I've kind of done a 180 on this. I really like multiplayer games. In fact, those are the games I prefer now. The one I play the most is I started with Apex, the Apex Legends game, which is kind of awesome and fun and remind me a lot of Borderlands. So I really felt comfortable in that kind of world. I died a lot. But I've been playing it for a good year now, and probably more actually, and I'm getting better and better. But it's kind of an interesting one because it isn't particularly realistic. It's not like your Battlefield kind of games. You have to shoot people quite a lot for them to die, and they have to shoot you quite a lot for you to die. So a lot of the skill is in maneuver and using cover properly rather than just creeping around. So it's kind of a fun, fast game.
I think you prefer Halo, like.
Halo's I don't like Halo.
Halo's like it's more like it takes quite a few shots to get you down.
Maybe. You know what? Maybe I should give Halo a go. I've tried Overwatch, didn't really like it. I've tried others, didn't really like it. But Apex just is quite a nice sweet spot for me. Kind of. The other game I often play that I really like, which is a much more realistic, and you die really quickly, so it's more about seeing people and using cover and positioning a little more intelligently to try and survive. It's called Warzone. It's Call of Duty, and I play the multiplayer mode, which is like short little games, and that's fun. But Warzone is the big open expansion one. We're on a massive map, and it's very realistic looking. Apex looks like a cartoon compared to it. Let's put it that way. Yeah. But it's very realistic. The buildings look realistic, the plants and so on. And you got a big choice of weapon. The more you play, the better weapons you can sort of customize, so it pays to play a lot, but you can still enter it fairly fresh and do reasonably well. It's kind of fun, and if you want to be a sniper, you can be a sniper. If you want to be a more run and gun, you can do that kind of thing. I kind of sit in the middle there. I tend to not be much good at sniping or close up, but I'm good at middle range kind of fighting. I really enjoyed it, and I've recently played the Black Ops, the other Call of Duty game, the Black Ops demo, the beta that was available. Really enjoyed that, so I'll be getting the Black Ops Cold War game that comes out mid-November in about 3 weeks, I think. I'll be enjoying that. And the final one I wanted to talk about is Star Wars Squadrons, which is basically an updated version of X-Wing. It's kind of that kind of thing. You're flying around in a spaceship, an X-Wing or a TIE Fighter if you want to be it, and fighting. And I'm really digging it. I'm playing it on the PC, and I'm really crap at keyboard and mouse. So I've been using an Xbox controller, and it's been working really well, and kind of really enjoying the dogfighting. I haven't actually played multiplayer yet because I think I'll get my ass handed to me when I first jump into that. I've been playing the missions to get used to the controls, but I feel fairly proficient now. I'll probably continue with the single player mode just to get that under my belt, and then I'll try the multiplayers, but I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, some really fun games there. I've enjoyed a lot. I could recommend, if people don't like playing multiplayer, I'd recommend trying Apex Legends, if nothing else. Just give it a go, especially if you like games like Borderlands. You'll kind of get into it fairly fast, and it's kind of fun. It's a bit disorientating at first, so I'd Google some ideas of tips and tricks and to figure out where you're at, so you get used to everything in it. But it's damn fun as a game. Right, okay. That's my last one. So your last one, mate.
Okay, my last one is it's a web series called If the Emperor Had a Text-to-Speech Device. Now, from my previous theme, this is also Warhammer 40,000 based.
Okay.
It's pretty much what it says on the tin. Part of the lore of Warhammer is that there is this powerful semi-immortal figure called the Emperor that's in charge of the Imperium. But 10,000 years prior to the story point, he was betrayed hugely, and half of his Space Marines went traitor, and he got struck down. So they basically put what was left of him on this throne that kept him alive, but at the cost of I think it's 1,000 psychics per day had to be sacrificed to it.
Bloody
and that
hell.
keeps him alive. But he is also the beacon by which all their faster than light travel is done, and he also psychically protects them from chaos gods. And this web series is about giving him a text-to-speech device that he can sort of use, because otherwise he can't really communicate.
Wow, it's a comedy, right? It sounds
it's a comedy.
Oh, okay, right.
So
it sounds like something I'd like, actually.
His first words are, right, I've got a lot of complaining to do. So, and it's basically it's kind of like an explanation of a lot of the weird lore of Warhammer 40,000, with the Emperor harping on about the weird stuff. It's like, why are you all naked, to his guards? It's like, oh yeah, we took off our armor as penance for letting you get killed. He's like, that's dumb. Put it back on. Go out and help people. Come on. And
I think I might have
as
to
it
watch
turns out,
this.
that's actually real lore, and they characterize the guards as there's a main guard who's nicknamed Kitten by the others, and who keeps all his armor on, but the others are oiled, muscle-bound dudes that just with their helmets.
It sounds like South Park wrote the episode.
Yeah, it's a South Park sort of humor, and they've nicknamed him Kitten. But they go sliding about on oil, and he's like, "Oh my god, what the hell is going on?" And the jokes about them being muscle-bound oil dudes that just wander around naked got so prolific that Games Workshop kind of had to give the guys a proper army to counter the thing.
Got this web series
Games Workshop has actively changed what they were doing because of this web series, and it's weird how prolific it's become, because all the animations on the recent all the cutscenes in recent Warhammer games have kind of looked like it.
Weird. So weird.
And they actually started advancing the story semi-recently, a few years back, but after this came out, and wouldn't you know it, one of the Emperor's sons, a Primarch, who's probably one of the most powerful quote unquote humans. It's up to vagary whether they are actually human anymore.
Yeah.
But he woke up, and guess what? He basically started doing the same thing that the Emperor in this series does. He's sorting out the Inquisition. He's telling the custodians to get out and start doing stuff.
So weird.
Yeah, but it's a really funny series. I highly recommend it. It's got some really good music. I quite enjoy. They have a theme for this, a background character called Kegarak, who's the laughing god of the Eldar, who are elf people who were somehow horny enough to fuck a god of excess into being. I'm not joking. That's part of the lore.
Wow.
Okay, but the laughing god. His theme is this weird sort of dirge theme, but it also incorporates the Seinfeld bass line from the show, because that's the sort of character that Kegarak is. He's just a friggin' weirdo who does stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a really fun.
This sounds like right up my street. Actually, I think I'm going to give this a go today. I'll watch episode 1 and see how I feel about it. But that sounds quite a lot of fun, actually. Yeah. All right, cool. I think that's our comfy chair. We will, honest, we will try and do these once a month from now on. We'll really try.
I didn't even cover Among Us or Phasmophobia.
Oh, so we had more. Yeah. So next time we can talk. We'll have more. We'll do another one soon. We'll try. Maybe we should try and do them like the last week of the month, and then we've always got something to focus on, right? If we we'll see how we go. I quite enjoy these, and they don't have to be that long either, do they? We could talk about 2 or 3 things. Okay, cool. All right, that's us for today. So bye from me.
Bye.